Hello, hello. How's it going? I am going live, testing the live feature. Okay, so how's everyone doing? Let's see, I'll post something. I haven't gone live in a while. Actually, this is my first time going live also on YouTube. So I'm going live both on YouTube and TikTok right now for the first time. Hope everyone's doing awesome and having an amazing day. Can you guys hear me okay? Or do I maybe, is this better? Can you hear me better if I do that? Is it better with the mic right here? I can't, I'm not 100% sure if my mic is hooked up or not. Okay, it was clear already. So, okay, it's probably using my, oh, this one over here, we're using my phone audio, so we're fine. This may be helpful though for those of you who may be on YouTube. If anyone is on YouTube, I don't know. I may be the only one on YouTube. Hey everybody, how's it going? How's it going? What's new? What's new? What's new? Anyway, that's awesome. I would dream about being inside of a bunker. Yeah, you know what? I just can't wait to get it done and to get more progress going. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to our live stream. I'm like simulcasting right now, both on TikTok and on YouTube. So I'll try to manage the two by myself. Hopefully I can do that. J Rock, can you hear me? Okay, am I clear? Yeah, I mean it's an awesome project. I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to work on it. What have you gotten done? Not as much as I'd like. I actually am just finishing up this week. I'm finishing up a project with business, and once that project is done, I'll be able to do some more stuff on the bunker. I mean, sometimes I don't know what to share also, right? Because some of the things we do is boring. Like taking metal out of the ceiling, like if you've seen that once, like it kind of gets a little bit boring. But that's what we're doing, really. I mean, that's our big project right now, is to get metal out of ceilings and stuff. Yeah. So anyway, it's not that exciting. I mean, I guess we have our exciting moments, like the time that we dropped one of the big pieces of metal out of the ceiling. That was exciting. How long do I think is going to take? So the plan is at minimum 5 years. It's somewhere between 5 and 10 years it's going to take to complete the renovation. Yeah, that generator behind me is it's a 225 kilowatt generator, diesel, but it's old. We're going to get rid of it. I put some lighting in there, but we're going to get rid of it. I guess scrap it or something like that. I've also thought, because we have these sort of giant fans, I've sort of wondered to myself, could I take it's a squirrel cage fan. Could I take the squirrel cage fan, build something, connect it to the generator, like the coil part that's on the generator, and actually produce some wind energy? I don't know. I don't know. But it's probably worth testing, maybe, except it's a lot of stuff and it's all really big. Yeah, 5 to 10 years. I can't wait to see the results too. And when the apocalypse starts, can I come hang out with y'all? You don't want to hang out with me now. You only want me for my bunker, I guess. I guess that's understandable. Nobody wants to hang out with me before the apocalypse. People only want to hang out with me when the apocalypse starts. That's when I find all sorts of new friends, right? Yeah. So if you are on TikTok, that's great. I guess you guys have been seeing, we've been doing some videos about our ERV that we just got. I'm super excited about that. If you're on YouTube, sorry guys, my son says he's working on editing that part 2 video. And for those who are on TikTok, of us going through the sewer, I don't know. It's supposed to be done. Why is that? I don't know. I don't know why people don't want to hang out with me before the apocalypse. Anyway, so for those of you, if I'm reading 2 different, if you guys have questions, either on YouTube or on TikTok, feel free to post any questions that you have about the project or about anything else. Ooh, low power mode. Okay, hold on. Let me plug in my phone so that hopefully it will last through the live stream. Just want to say hi. Yep. Thanks for saying hi. Thanks for stopping by. So for those who are interested in kind of the up and coming projects, I think the big one is to get our air system set up, because we are a little bit worried about our radon levels. We have a monitor that monitors our radon levels on an ongoing basis, and they're higher than we would like them to be. And Joan has told me from the beginning she really wants us to be able to get our air quality inside the bunker as good as it is outside. So our ERV is really going to help with that. In fact, it's going to go. If you can see, I don't know if you can, depending on which device you're on. There's 2 pipes above me. If you're on YouTube, it's right there. If you're on TikTok, they're right there. All right. You guys are at a different angle. So those are the pipes we're going to tap into to bring our air to bring in and out air in the bunker. And what they are is they are exhaust pipes from this generator. So yeah. One thing that I have to look into though is I've been down into like there's basically like a pit out there where the pipes come out, and then there's metal grating over it. And I've only been down there like once or twice, so I don't really know what everything that's going on down there. But what I do know, hey, how's it going? We're live. If you want to come join us. But I think there is air. There's like some sort of air exposure at the bottom of that pipe, and I think the reason that's there is because the pipes just go straight up. They don't like actually curve over, which makes sense for an exhaust pipe because stuff's getting exhausted, so there's pressure coming through there. But the reason I think there's a space at the bottom of it is so when it rains, it doesn't fill with water. So it comes down. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to probably take some of the pipe that we're taking off up here. And when we cut that off to attach the ERV to it, what we're going to have to do is potentially add that to the exhaust pipe outside. And so actually bring it up and around and down. So it actually is facing down, so rain doesn't get in there. And then we have to seal up somehow. I haven't figured out how to do that. I haven't figured out the way I want to do it. I guess there's probably lots of different ways of sealing up the bottom of that pipe, but I don't know how. I don't know which way, I guess, is I don't know if I'd call it a dilemma, but a choice that I have to figure out. Again, if you guys have questions about the project here at the bunker, about our renovation, feel free to post them. Any questions that you might have, we're happy to answer them. I really should plan what to do. We're not like a normal TikTok channel though, right? Or a YouTube channel. Like we're not. I think most people are here probably for my bunker and not for me. They want to see the project. We have not checked for background radiation levels. We do check for radon. That is a question, have we checked for radon and background radiation levels? I mean, there's radiation in radon. Radon itself is a radioactive gas. So yes, we have a monitor that monitors our radon levels basically hourly. And so we track it and we keep tabs on it. And we are worried about radon. I mean, it's not astronomically high, but it's higher than we'd like to, if we're going to live here for the rest of our lives, we need to take care of radon and solve that. So we have radon plugs in our drains. We did that several months ago. And we're hoping that the ERV system will help reduce the radon even further. How long have you been until the bunker will be done completely? 5 to 10 years. Honestly, it's going to take. It hasn't. Yes. Someone says they haven't seen me in forever. Sorry. I've had some stuff going on with work that I've had to kind of focus on, and that's kind of taken up my time. And there was a lot of things that happened that I was not expecting to happen. So we recently had a launch of some website templates, and there were just a lot of hurdles that came along. So we finally, 5 to 10 years is a long time to do a renovation. I know, I'm trying to be realistic in a lot of ways. So it's, and we're doing a lot of the work ourselves. How big is the generator? That is a 225 kilowatt generator. It's original to the bunker, but we're not keeping it. I mean, there's a few reasons why not to keep it. One, we don't need that much of a generator. 225 kilowatts is a lot. It would burn a lot of diesel. There's also issues when you're burning diesel inside of an enclosed space. I just worry that, if something goes wrong and carbon monoxide starts filling the bunker, that's deadly. That could kill us. So, I'm trying to avoid things that could potentially kill us. Enoch has been doing great with our TikTok videos in the meantime while I've been busy. So I really do appreciate him. We've got 13 acres here. We're kind of set far back in the back of the 13 acres. Someone's asking how far back are we from the road, but we're not that far. I mean, we can see the cars going by and stuff, and we don't have a lot of trees. It's mostly farmland around here. So it's not like we're in the mountains where there's trees everywhere. We're in the Midwest where there's not a lot of trees around. There is cheese, but not a lot of trees. Chances are it's the concrete itself that's decaying into radon. That could be, I don't know. Radon it's the second leading cause of lung cancer in the US, and it's a radioactive gas. And usually in basements in general, people have issues with radon. And unless you get it tested, you don't really even know, because it doesn't have any odor. It doesn't have, you can't see it. So it's completely invisible. And anyway, we have a monitor though. So we monitor our radon levels. We've tested different things. It's interesting. I think the number one thing that reduces our radon levels is the pressure outside. Like we've done a lot of tests, like putting fans in strategic places to see if it, circulates the air enough. And there were times when we thought, oh yeah, look, this is working, but then it wouldn't work. And we're trying to figure out what's going on. And what we discovered was there's actually the pressure. As the pressure goes up, our radon levels go down. As the pressure goes down, the radon levels go up. So for whatever reason, that's the biggest factor. But the nice thing about the ERV system is that it will constantly be bringing fresh air in, and that by itself will reduce your radon levels, just keeping air circulation going. The second thing that the ERV will do is, because it has two fans, it has one fan, which brings air in, and one fan, which takes air out. What you can do is you can set those fans at different speeds, basically. And so you have more air coming in than you do pulling out, which slightly pressurizes your space. And when your space is pressurized, that pressure inside pushes gas away from the bunker as opposed to, having it being drawn into the bunker. So that also secondarily, if we pressurize the bunker slightly, that it will reduce the radon levels right there. That's a haircut. Yes, I do have a haircut. So I think, I think most of us have haircuts, probably, I imagine. I mean, even if you don't have hair, that in itself is kind of a haircut, isn't it? Because you have to cut it usually to not have hair. Right. If you guys have questions, again, about the project, love the bunker. Thanks. I do too. I was just walking through the other day and I thought, this is awesome. I love that I'm here because it took a long time for us to get here. It took us a long time to figure out how to make this happen. That behind me, that's the old generator, the diesel generator that was here originally for the bunker. Yeah. Anyway, there's a few other bunker renovation channels on YouTube. If anyone's interested, I think there's one called Atomic Underground. Atomic Ranch, I think, is another one. These are on YouTube. I don't think they're on TikTok. Oh wait, I missed a question here. Let's see. How deep down are you? So we're not super deep. We have 16.5-foot ceilings, and then there's 2 feet of reinforced concrete above, basically that's our ceiling. And above that, there's about 4 feet of earth. So we're only like the actual concrete. If we started digging, we're only about, 4 or so feet down from the top of the ground to the top of our bunker. But again, there's 2 feet after that, and then there's 16.5-foot ceiling. So, this facility was built to withstand a near miss. For a nuclear bunker. So the near miss means as long as we're not in the crater, we should be okay. If we're in the crater, we're dead just like everyone else. So if someone decides to drop a bomb and near us, there's not much near us, so I don't know why they would. But if they did, if we were in the crater, we would die like everyone else. Because that you're basically vaporized. Doesn't really matter. I mean, you're rock. I mean, you basically when a nuclear bomb goes off, there's a big crater. I mean, I guess it depends. Sometimes nuclear bombs go off in the sky, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what most of them are like. Have we encountered asbestos? So no. When these facilities were shut down, they were required by the government to remediate for asbestos. So we haven't had any issues with asbestos. However, having said that, there was a bunker we were looking at before we bought this one. We were looking at different bunkers for about 7 years. And this one bunker we were looking at, it was in bad shape. It was in really bad shape. The electricity didn't work. The plumbing didn't work. There were people had come in and cut out all of the copper pipes for plumbing to go and sell it, and pulled out all the wiring. So, I mean, everything it was basically a really dark, damp, moldy underground space. And it was in bad shape, really bad shape. And I think we were seriously considering getting that one. It would have been a lot more work than this one, but that was before we knew about this one. But anyway, the sort of nail in the coffin. Well, first of all, we found this one while we were still looking at that one. But then I think the huge nail in the coffin was we were actually on our second visit to that bunker, and we looked in a corner and we're like, there's a bunch of tiles in here. We realized those were all the asbestos tiles that were supposed to have been removed. And the bags on the floor, there were all these bags on the floor that I guess they were supposed to be put in because they all said asbestos on them. So whoever was supposed to do the job to take those tiles out and remediate, meaning like remove all the asbestos from that bunker, did not do the job. I guess they figured, who's going to find these asbestos tiles? That's somebody else's problem. By the time they realize it, will be gone. And so they didn't finish the job and actually remove the asbestos tiles. They just stacked them up in the corner and left the asbestos bags on the floor. So that was kind of the nail in the coffin. We're like, yeah, we can't take on this one. This one's too much. It's packed with asbestos. You got a radio. There was a radio tower that you wanted that was packed with asbestos. Yes. Yeah. All of these facilities were remediated except for that one. It was supposed to be. Someone obviously was paid to do it because they had the asbestos bags there, but they just didn't finish the job. So ventilation. What do we do about ventilation? That's a good question. So there are large 4-foot baffles in the stairwell, and they're open right now. So those let plenty of air in. We also monitor our monitor that monitors our radon also monitors our CO2. So we watch both, and those are plenty as far as like bringing fresh air into the bunker and stuff. But our ERV is going to help a lot more. So that the ERV is going to bring in a lot more fresh air. Bring our CO2 down even farther, which will be pretty awesome. What happens if it goes off? Our ventilation system, we can open those vents. That lets plenty of air in. If the ventilation system, we don't have one right now, but like we have one, but we haven't installed it yet. Our ERV system is our ventilation system. Yeah, thanks. We've been learning a lot. As far as someone says that we've been doing a great job with our remodel. We've been learning a lot. I mean, it's a big project, and I think the biggest thing with a space, when you're taking a space that already existed as something else, there's a lot of deconstruction that has to happen before you can actually start to build, right? So it's a slow process, and sometimes work gets in the way, and I can't do as much as I'd like to, but we do what we can, right? And we're learning a lot. And some people, when we were working on our hot water heater. So if you guys are just joining us on YouTube, you may not have seen this, or if you're just joining us recently on TikTok, a couple months back, we refurbished our water heater. And you can't always do that because most water heaters have, it's like a steel tank with some sort of enameled lining. And eventually that corrodes or cracks or whatever, and that tank is expended, and it could be toxic. You don't want to use an old water heater that is basically a steel thing that rusts and all those types of things inside. But our water heater, it's not a stainless steel water heater. It was actually a copper water heater, which also should last forever. It's actually a copper silicone alloy, and it's thick. It's like if you look at there's like weld. I don't know. Would you call it weld because it's copper, or would that be brazened? I don't know. But if you look at the weld lines on our copper tank, you can tell that this tank is thick because the weld lines are a good 3/4 of an inch big themselves. And you can't put that kind of weld line on something that's not thick itself. So our copper tank is really thick, and we were refurbishing it. And a lot of people said, why don't you just get a new one? Well, you can't get a new, first of all, you can't get a new copper tank like that. I could have sold it, and probably you can sell those for a decent amount of money. People like them for decorations and stuff like that. But a copper tank, you can't buy a copper tank. Really, I mean, there's a few, I think maybe there's one company I found that actually still makes copper tanks, but like they're really, like, they're almost impossible to buy these days. And they're really expensive. They're more expensive than a stainless steel tank would be. So we refurbished it and got it up and running again. And people kept asking me, why don't you just get a new one? Because we had some difficulties. It wasn't working. You know, there were some challenges, and it would have been easier to just buy a new one. But if we just bought a new one, I wouldn't know how to fix it. I wouldn't know, you know, so part of this whole process of renovating the bunker is about learning how to do this stuff myself. Because if I can do it, I want to do it, because if I do it, I know how to fix it, right? If something goes wrong, I know what to do. And in fact, one of our elements from our hot water tank went out. I have a couple theories on why it went out so quickly. One is, I think I had some Teflon tape on it, and the Teflon tape, when I pulled it out, it looked like it had gotten loose and was across the tank. And the Teflon tape itself is not conductive, but it could have, you know, things could have settled on it, which could have been conductive, which could have shorted it out. My second theory is, if that's not the case, because honestly, I'm not an expert in all things, but like if that's not the case, my second theory is the temperature gauge was not flush enough against the tank. And so it was overheating, basically, because it was reading a lower temperature than it actually was. It just wasn't tight enough against the tank. So maybe as a combination of those two things, brazing, somebody says on YouTube, is what you do with copper. So yes, okay, so brazing wasn't welded, it was brazed on, but it was a thick braze line. Okay, how many occupants is the bunker designed to hold? Well, okay, so you know, we've got about 6,000 square feet. I don't know how many people could be here. It depends on what your measurement on how many people you can get in here. If you're looking at, like, as far as codes go, I'd probably have to check with the fire department, and that doesn't depend on how many people I can fit in. It depends on how big our exits are and how hard it would be for people to exit out of the bunker. That's as far as like legal. Like if we were going to have, hey, how's it going? Join me. If we were going to have a,
with the camera.
Yeah, I've got two cameras. If we were going to have like a big party, like, or something like that, I don't know, like we would probably have to check with the fire department to see like how big are our doors. They were asking how many people can fit in. Now, having said that, there is I think in Turkey, I don't know if you've heard about this, and if someone remembers the name of the place, there's like a whole underground city in I think it's in Turkey somewhere, and it's like basically they built this, but I was really surprised because people are like, oh yeah, it fit like 13,000 people or some crazy number like that. And I'm like, 13,000, wow, that must be huge. It's only like 5,000 or 7,000 square feet or something like that. And I'm like, our bunkers, if it's 5,000 feet, our bunker, you know, that would imply that we could hold like
10 times that.
Yeah. Well, oh no, not 10 times that, because we're only 6,000 square feet. We're only 6,000 square feet. But like that means that we could hold as much as that city. Yeah. And that, to me, that sounds crazy. But I guess if we divided everything up into little tiny sections and spots, I guess we could potentially bring in a lot of people.
If everyone got a square foot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I imagine that you could have like you have to have enough room to at least lay down, I think is probably how they would calculate that. Yeah. You'd have enough room to lay down and move around a little bit. But anyway, would not last long as the older one. Yes, I agree. We were talking about the hot water tank earlier. Our hot water tank, I think, will last forever. I mean, we'll have to change the elements, but that the tank itself should last forever. So that's the cool thing. And a new one is not going to do that. It's going to deteriorate fast. I mean, really, they're only 15 years max. You're going to get a hot water tank unless it's stainless steel, or unless you can have a copper one, but they're very rare. Like I said, I think there's only one company that still makes modern day copper tanks, and they're expensive because copper is expensive. Copper is a lot more expensive than stainless steel, so you would pay a lot more for that. And to trash that, I mean, maybe I could have sold it. I mean, this copper tank's not as nice and pretty and shiny as some other copper tanks. I mean, I guess potentially it could be like polished down and made to be really shiny, coppery color.
Then it would be insulated.
Well, I'm just talking about if someone wanted to buy it for decoration, right? So if we sold that, we would maybe be able to, get a stainless steel tank, right? But I don't even know. I don't even know if we'd be able to get that much for it. But it's such a cool thing.
Move it.
Yeah, you got to move it. You got to get it out. You got to get a new one in, and it's such a cool thing to have. It just was not worth replacing our copper hot water tank. Have you found any cool artifacts from back when you was an operational facility? Are you getting something cool?
No,
oh, okay.
I'm fixing the light.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Any cool artifacts? I mean, yeah, I mean, we found a few signs outside that were kind of cool. Something about like no trespassing or something, but it was only like half a sign. Like, so part of the sign was missing.
What about the boring log?
Oh yeah, that is something we found on one of the top shelves in our janitor's closet. We found a blueprint for, not of the bunker. I wish that we had blueprints of the bunker. If anyone can find blueprints of these AT&T facilities, let me know, because I would love that. But we found a log of where they did core samples of the outside to see, okay, over here there's sand and over here it's more clay and stuff like that. So anyway, they dug down deep to test the soil, I guess, before building the bunker. And we have those original plans. I guess that's pre-bunker even. Did we set up the new air machine? No, the ERV. That's going to be a big project. Maybe not quite so many of those. Yeah, because it's, at least on this camera, we're a little shiny. That's fine. No, that's a big project. I'm gonna have to cut through some.
Your head, you can show the pipes.
Yeah, I was showing that. I was pointing them out earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, they're right up there. This is both TikTok and YouTube. Somehow that it's working where I can get both of them, even though they're at a different angle. I've got to cut this like 11-inch pipe, and because that's what it's gonna, and we're gonna have to set up the scaffolding in there and all the electrical, right? And so I was looking over some of the electrical schematics, which I don't really know how to read, but but yeah, I understand a little bit. But I was looking over those, and they have things on there that I'm like, I don't know what this is. Like I forget what it's called, but there's other devices that I don't have. So I have to maybe get some more things. Like, I don't know if maybe I should get a pressure reading device, some sort of device that kind of reads the pressure, and then it will regulate the ERV according to the pressure. I don't know. Or maybe I need to go talk to the company and see what the best solutions are as far as like monitoring and things like that. So someone's asking how many rooms are in the bunker. Right now, I mean, it depends on which rooms you want to consider. I mean, we've got there's an entrance room that you come in right when you come in. That's kind of a largest space. I'll call that a room. Then there's what used to be the equipment room is right after that. That's bigger than the entrance room. Then there was the battery room, which is our biggest room. Our battery room is 1,700 square feet. So that's the size of our first house, that one room. And it's 16.5-foot ceiling. So if we built 2 levels in there, we could have, 34 100 square feet. And then there's this room, which is the engine room, which is maybe the smallest of the 4. But then we also have a fan room, and we have a condensation room. Is that what it's called? The condensation room?
Condenser room.
Air condenser room. That's it. The air condenser room, which are next to the stairwell. And then there's a mezzanine, and I don't know how big that is, but and then there's also a small room, which is where our hot water tank is, and our sewage ejector pump is in the pump room. It's called the pump room. They're signs, so we know what they're called, right? In case we forget. And that's not a huge room, but like I guess technically that would be a room. And then we have like a closet. I guess the janitor's closet would not be considered a room. So you could use it to moonshine still. Yes, we could with our copper hot water tank. Yeah, I guess so. We don't drink, so it would not be
it'd be bartering.
A use
medicinal.
Useful to us except for medicinally. Yeah, I will probably have to hire people, but I want to do as much as I can myself. I mean, there are definitely things I can't do everything. I don't know enough to do everything, but I'm learning. I want to know enough that I could potentially fix everything. That's my goal. I want to know enough that I can potentially fix everything if I needed to. How long does it take to do my hair? A minute, maybe. Usually a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just the way it's cut. Basically, what I do is I just get a blow dryer and I blow dry it up, and then once it's dry, I just blow dry it up and then I hairspray it up, and that's kind of how I do my hair. So it takes me like a minute, and that's because it takes a minute to dry. So, good question. What were we talking about before? Rooms and something else before that, I forget. What inspired you to make the move out of a house and live in bunker life? I went to art school, so and I have a master's in sculpture, and I really love installation art. And so installation art, for those who may not know, is where you actually you make a sculpture out of the space that you're in. And I fell in love with the space. I saw somebody else that had renovated one, and I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, I love this space. Like I think we both had the same reaction. We just fell in love with the space, and we're like, this is what we're going to do. And I'm still in love with it. I still think it's pretty awesome. But I think also I have rose-colored glasses because I have a vision, right? People kind of, I guess, biblically, like they kind of saying rose-colored glasses is kind of a negative connotation. But I think when you have vision, right?
You can see potential.
You can look at something and say, okay, you know what? Like I'm not seeing what I'm looking at right now. I'm seeing what it can become. Right. And I think that's what I look at. When I look around the bunker, I see what it's going to become. I don't see what it is. We've had guests, and I think they don't necessarily see the same vision that we see. And they're probably like, better. I'm glad you guys are doing this and not me, because I wouldn't want to do it. We'll come back when it's nice. Yeah, we have people.
Come in and be like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, we had one person come with their daughter, and she said, this is a sacred space. And we're like, you get it. Yeah. and here's the other thing. Like, and this breaks my heart a little bit about these spaces, is that I think if the people who own these bunkers would sell them at a reasonable price, because most of them are way overpriced, I think people would do amazing things with them, but they just overprice them, and they just make them inaccessible so that nobody can do anything with them. And the issue the part that breaks my heart about that is that these spaces they're not going to, unless somebody takes care of them unless somebody comes in with the heart and the soul and the desire to make something amazing out of them, they're going to get worse. They're going to continue to decay. They're going to be harder to renovate. And it just breaks my heart. They overprice them. And I mean, I bet if there were bunker spaces like this out there, selling at the median home price of a home in the US, people would buy them. I'm sure we have followers right now, either on YouTube or on TikTok, that I think the median price of a home is like $330,000. If you could get a space like this and we paid less than that for our space. If you could get one of these spaces for that amount, I bet there would be enough people out there that are following us right now that would jump on the opportunity to get one. But they want like 500,000 and 600,000 and $1 million. And it's just like, you guys, like, and they make the argument that, oh, well, it took the government, $2 million to build these in the 60s. And with inflation, that means that they're worth $30 million. Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, if in the 60s, it took $2 million to build a factory, but that factory is 60 years old, it's not worth $2 million anymore with inflation, right? Like it's maybe worth, if you have a factory that old, it's going to be in bad shape, and you're going to have to put a lot into it to build it back up. Anyway, that's my little rant. Do you have plans for hydroponic and aquaponic farming in there? That is a great question. We would love to do that. Our biggest concern, though, with the bunker is moisture. Like we have to almost always, or right now it's not so bad, but we almost always are running dehumidifiers in this space, just because, well, first of all, we set them really low so that there's very little chance of mold or mildew growing. But that would be the biggest issue with doing hydroponic and aquaponics in the bunker. We would just have to be really careful about moisture and stuff. Maybe as we get our ERV set up, that's going to be less of a concern. Do we have plans drawn out?
Funny you should ask.
Oh yeah, we've got some plans.
They're just sitting around.
Actually, this isn't our plans. This is our square footage measurements. But yes, we do have plans. So I think we posted them on TikTok.
And you printed out this kind of floor plan way before we got this.
Oh, yeah.
Like years before.
Yeah.
So we've had time to play with all sorts of ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I know. I mean, so basically, here's the basic floor plan, if you can see it. And this is just what it currently is. So like you enter here, you come, oh, this is backwards, potentially backwards. I don't know. And there's a stairwell that goes up to the mezzanine, and the mezzanine basically takes up, where am I? No, not here. It takes up this space right here. This space right here is where the mezzanine is. This is the entrance room I was telling you about right here. This is where the equipment room was. This is the 1,700 square feet room, which was the battery room. The whole point of the battery room was in case of a power outage, it would power this whole facility for 3 minutes before the generator turned on. So it was filled with huge, gigantic batteries in there to just do that one job for 3 minutes. This is the room we're in right now, which is the engine room. And then these are the rooms I was telling you about before. This is the fan room, and this is the air condenser room. I always forget what that was, what it's called. This is our escape hatch back here. And what we're going to do is here in this entrance room, right here in this entrance room, we're going to build 2 stories in that room and have 2 bedrooms, each with their own bath. And then this is the engine room. We're going to do the same, and that's the room we're in. So all this metal and stuff has to come down, and we're going to build a second story. Where that generator is will be my office. And that's going to be mostly what's in this room, because we've got a lot of electrical panels in here. And we'll maybe just kind of close that off as sort of like an electrical panel room or something like that. Maybe some slight storage or something, utility closet or something like that. The pump room is going to stay. Oh, wait, where's the pump room? Yeah, that's the pump room. The pump room is going to kind of stay the same. And this room will be our kitchen. Our second largest room will be our kitchen. And along this back corner here will be like sort of corner countertops and stove and all those types of things and fridges and everything. And then on this side of the pillar, we're going to have our dining room area. And then along this wall will be kind of like seating, like loungy kind of hangout stuff. And this room we're just going to keep completely open. This is the room we're living in now while we renovate, but that room's going to be completely open while we renovate it. And that's it. All the bedrooms will have their own bathroom too, because my goal is I want to have a space where people can come, like I shouldn't say people, where my family can come and we can have like family reunions, right? So as my kids grow up and move out, I realize they're going to have their own families. And I want this to be a space that they could bring their families and they could have their own room and have their own space and we could have family reunions here. That's kind of my dream. So everything I do gears towards that, which is why every room has to have its own bathroom. Let's see. I would leave the generator. It's way too much and it's old and it's maybe a little bit too much for me to figure out how to use.
A lot of it's been cut. Wires have been cut and stuff. So it's not like it's workable and just sitting there. It's like you would have to refurbish it over 20 years.
Take a look at backticks. Yeah, that'd be cool. Check out our YouTube channel too. Looking at how to build a massive dehumidifier. Yeah, we want a whole house dehumidifier, but I'll look at how to build one. I'm sure it'll be amazing to see the bedrooms and the office go in. I'm excited about that for sure. That's a few stages away though. I mean, that's a second story stuff is second, third, or fourth stage of the bunker. The next things are we need to get our air system set up. I'd like to build a bathroom downstairs and start working on our kitchen. So those are the next big things. How much can you buy a bunker for? Like, honestly, I think bunkers, like the market, the actual market value of bunkers, I think if they're in really, really bad shape, and depends, I think honestly, I would not pay more than $115,000 for one that's like the one we were looking at. That's what it should be selling for, honest, at most, like maybe not even that much, right? Now, there was a fully rated bunker that sold for over the median price of a home in the US, but it was it was almost completely refurbished or like renovated, right? It had 3 bedrooms. It had a recording studio. It had a second story that they had built.
Had a kitchen, had a gym.
Yeah. I mean, it had
office space.
Yeah. It had a ton of stuff and it was nice. We almost bought it. We tried to buy it. It just didn't work out for us. But that one sold for less than $400,000. Now they did need a very sizable down payment and they wanted to sell it for more. But in the end, it sold for less than $400,000. And that was fully renovated. Now, so when you go out there and you look at some of these other bunkers where they're unrenovated and they're asking for $500,000-$600,000, I don't think that's market value. I think that's their asking price. But I think if the reason they sit on the market for so long and they start to decay is because they're overpriced. Now, if you had all the money in the world and you could just spend it and like, maybe that's worth it to you, especially if a specific location really works out for you, then it might be worth it specifically to a specific buyer. But I think if you don't care where you live and you don't care where your bunker is, then I don't think it has that same value that it would to somebody else who needs a specific location. Where did I leave off? It's your dream. Love the old Cold War structures. Yeah, they're awesome. All of your videos, the one package getting delivered got 2.4 million views.
I know, right?
Yeah. We actually have our most viewed video, I think, is 11 million views.
Yeah, so, that's the Naruto reference.
Oh yeah, we did a Naruto reference.
I don't mind. I love my cargo net. So I love showing it off so we can bring big stuff in here.
Yeah, that was one of we actually bought that before we even moved into the one. Before we bought it, before we closed on it, we got that.
Yeah. Like, we're going to need this.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I found it on eBay and I was like, Joan? And you're like, yeah. And then we got the carabiners to like attach to it. Yeah, that's been a great investment for us. So where do you find a bunker? How do you find them in Rather? You can find some on eBay. I wish I could sell the old diesel generator. I called around and nobody wanted it. It's too old.
There actually used to be two. And the last owner, he didn't sell it. He basically gave it away and the guy paid to have it moved. So he kind of covered the moving cost. And he said, I drove by the other day and it's outside, not hooked up to anything, has maybe a tarp over it, and it's just resting away. So even the guy who got one can't use it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, glow-in-the-dark stars or stickers. I've thought about that, like getting some glow-in-the-dark paint and like painting it around the bunker. Like there's like some really, really high quality 8, 9, 12-hour glow-in-the-dark paint that you can buy, or you can also buy a tape version of it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to put around doors. I mean, if
just
it suddenly went dark,
you
could still kind of get around.
Yeah, if we lost power, that we would still be able to see everything
around.
So
halls,
we've definitely thought about that.
Bumping into stuff.
Absolutely. We're glad that we could answer your question. Where's the fuel for the generator stored? It used to be stored in here.
Yeah.
There used to be a tank inside. I think there's a tank outside too. Some storage tank. I think so, but maybe not. I believe so. Yeah, the delivery person was awesome.
Yeah,
he's
our friend now.
Yeah, I've been texting back and forth.
He's like, request me next time. I want to deliver all your packages. Yeah, we're like, okay.
Yeah, so he
nice guy.
Yeah, great.
And
guy.
The fewer people who know where we are, the better.
Yeah.
What state are you in?
What state are you in? We're in the Midwest. Do you mind if I have a look at it real quick?
At the generator?
At the generator. Okay, yeah, there you go. Generator. If you want to buy it, we're selling it. Anybody want to buy an old generator? We're willing to sell it to.
Yeah. If not, there's some cool pieces in there.
I mean, I wouldn't want to sell it for any less than scrap prices.
Well, yeah, and you got to pay to move it.
Yeah, and you got to pay to move it. So I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think anyone wants it. Looked like the guy from Hunger Games. The bad guy from Hunger Games. I don't remember which guy.
The fashion advisor.
Yeah. So let's see. Are there any? Will you have a man cave? Will you have a man cave? I mean, I think
your office.
Yeah, that's my office. I mean, this whole bunker is like the ultimate man cave, isn't it? It seems like. Talking about price, some of Atlas bunkers cost 1.5 million. Yeah. And now, granted, an Atlas bunker, that's a missile base where the missiles laid down and they went up. Now, those are much larger. I think they're twice as big as these AT&T bunkers. Yeah, Midwest is not a state. We know. So, I mean, I can see why they would cost more for sure. But that's also a much bigger project, right? Like I'm not really building this for Armageddon. I'm not feeling like I'm going to bring in like 20 families and they're all coming into my bunker. And they all pay me $1 million each to do that.
But the cool thing is that you can drive your cars.
Oh, that is the cool thing about the Atlas bunkers.
It's the end of days. Asteroids are coming down, and you can just take your.
I mean, like talk about a real.
We have to like get out and run.
Talk about a real like Grand Theft Auto like reality. Like that's like that. Yeah, got one in Grand Theft Auto exactly. Yeah, in the Grand Theft Auto game, you can drive your car into the bunker. That is the cool thing about the Atlas bunkers. I don't know if it's worth, $1 million more than what you'd pay for an AT&T bunker. Kind of cool, but it is pretty cool. You're in Michigan, yeah. I'll have a look into the bunker. So Michigan, okay, I'm trying to think because I know where a lot of bunkers are actually because I looked around.
Someone's asking about upstate New York.
How close did you see the one in upstate New York with the house and runway?
Yeah, we saw that, but we didn't see it in person.
It has
the house on top and it goes down.
Right. No, yeah, that's the missile silo, and then they have the. Yeah, I would want to buy a missile silo, honestly. And they've got a control center and stuff in that one. I would not want to buy a missile silo personally. I mean, unless it's an Atlas. The Atlases are square, and so they're easier to renovate. But like the ones with the long, deep, dark silos that are filled with water, and you got to pump all that water out, that I wouldn't want to deal with that. And you have to deal with round walls. And sometimes there's like they use like toxic cleaners and like that gets into the soil. And so like there's environmental issues with some of those that you have to fix before you can start constructing stuff.
Someone pointed out to us that the communication bunkers have a much
peaceful.
It's a much more peaceful
vibe.
Thank you. That's a good word.
Than
things that had missiles in it.
Things that were
we were
there
all
to
about
destroy.
Communication and staying connected from coast to coast, and as opposed to housing things that blow people up.
Yeah. Although there is some like something to be said about making a peaceful space out of something that was made for
reclaiming
war and reclaiming it. So
so if that's you, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Michigan. I'm trying to think. If you go, I think maybe there's one in Ohio, and it was on survivalrealty.com. I think there's a communication bunker on survivalrealty.com. It's a listing site with different like off-grid places and things like that. Land. And I think they have a communication bunker. I think it's in Ohio there. It would be cool if you built an ordinary house on top. We've thought about that. Yeah. We would have to probably, because it's going to cost us a lot to just do this bunker. We would probably have to be pretty wealthy at the point where we would consider building a house on top of the bunker. Have their own missile silos, have their own atmosphere. Yeah, the tall silos. Yeah, I don't honestly like, and also you have those like sort of long, thin, like claustrophobic-y kind of like hallways and stuff, which I don't mind a little bit, but I don't know. I just think the communication bunkers are just very open. There's a lot you can do with them. The spaces are really big and airy. It doesn't feel claustrophobic at all.
You're sold.
I'm prejudiced for the AT&T bunkers, but
you're a little biased.
I'm biased. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, I'm very biased towards AT&T bunkers. Again, Atlas, you can drive your car into. So if you're like, that's pretty cool. Oh, oops.
Oh no.
We're following both YouTube and TikTok all at the same time. Okay, we're back.
Where's
sorry
this
about
other
that.
Camera?
It's this one.
Oh, it's in there.
Yeah, hey.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just would not want to buy a missile silo and renovate them. I don't think it's a manageable DIY project with the tower, with that silo, with that underground silo is just not manageable as a DIY project. I don't think it is. You could leave it if you really like scuba diving. Fill it all the way up with water and go scuba diving in your missile silo.
Underwater house.
I guess in that case it could be cool, but like actually like renovating those round walls. First of all, a lot of them, the metal has been removed from them. If it hasn't been removed, it's probably very dangerous and rusty and falling apart because those silos fill up with water and start to rust everything. What do? You have to build a whole structure to start building in that silo. You also have to constantly be pumping water out of those because they fill with water. So there's just a lot of issues with those silos, missile silos. So I'm not a big fan. I mean, if you can do it, I'd love to. If you buy a missile silo and start renovating it DIY, I would love to watch that. That'd be awesome. I would watch you. I'd subscribe. But yeah, I just don't think
it's not for you.
It's not for me. That's too much. I'm not that skilled to know how to do that. Yeah, I mean, this one's a challenge enough, and it's square and pretty straightforward, and the electrical works and the plumbing works. So this is, even with all of that, this one's a big enough challenge. If it came with the missile, you can sell it on the black market or something. I don't know.
Not recommended.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to deal with
it. Clear.
That'd be a lot to deal with, beyond like dealing with like toxic cleaners in the soil. What do you do with it with your nuclear bomb that's left? But that's funny. Yeah. So anyway, if you guys have questions, if it takes us 5 years for that, imagine how much it would take for a missile silo. I know. Like if you had millions, like $20 million to do that renovation, okay, yeah, you could do it. If you have $20 million to do that renovation, then maybe that's cool. I don't have $20 million to do my renovation. So that's not going to happen. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe it won't take me 5 years. Maybe it'll be faster. I don't know. But it'll probably take me more.
People just think of more things that you want.
It'll probably be more than 5 years. I mean, I'm just trying to be as realistic as possible. Every year it's 5 years.
I think we've been saying that since we got here.
You asked me 3 years from now, how long is it going to take? Oh, 5 years. The generator's still here. I haven't done anything with it. Anyway.
Yep.
If you guys don't have any other questions, I might go ahead and sign off. How long have we been on? Do we have a timer? Oh, we've been on for about an hour. Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys. If you have more questions, I'm happy to answer them. Should I do more lip syncing on my channel? We're on TikTok. I should probably do more lip syncing, right? What do you guys think? Yeah, yes or no? Thumbs up or thumbs down for lip syncing on Underground Living? Spray it orange and blend it in. No comment. No comment either way. I want to build a bunker under your house. Yeah, you can get them. It's hard to build one once the house exists. That's for sure. Have you guys seen? I guess the guy in he's on the YouTube and on TikTok. I think I did a duet with him where he's building a tunnel to his underground bunker around his shed that he built in his backyard out of metal. So he dug it all up. Why can I not remember any name today? Simon? No, Colin? Maybe Colin? Anyway, if he do a search for digging underground bunker. Yeah, so I saw that. Yeah. Cloverfield. Yeah, I've seen those movies. I like Cloverfield 13 Lane. That was a good movie. I thought so. I like any bunker movie, honestly. Like I'm always thinking like, ooh, like, is this going to give me any ideas for my bunker?
So above that, they did ask how many people for how long could you stay in here, just in case.
Well, I mean, right now our food storage would probably only last us 6 months. So we're not as stocked as we'd like to be. You know, if we rationed it, we can maybe last longer, but this one has to eat like all the time. So I can go without eating for a while, but this one,
he has to keep me fed.
I have to keep her well fed and watered.
Yeah.
Did the military? So the military helped build this, but they didn't actually run it. It was actually AT&T who ran these facilities. Did they leave anything cool behind?
They left a desk.
I have a, yeah, I do use their desk, but they left
a metal folding chair.
Some ladders,
some
old wooden ladders that like weigh like 6,000 million pounds. Okay, maybe they're not that much, but they're heavy. I don't know. I can see why we switched to aluminum because large wooden ladders, very heavy. Eye washing stations, like a lot of plastic stuff. Like I guess like the 60s was like the era of plastic because there's a lot of metal stuff here in the bunker, but like all the sort of accessories around the bunker are plastic, and it's a little bit weird because I expect something that old to not have so much plastic in it. I don't know. I have done videos with the tour. I posted a tour video on our YouTube channel. Go check out our YouTube channel if you haven't already.
Is that the 4-hour-long live stream?
I did do yes. There's another one.
There's 2 tours in that video. Didn't you do like a longer tour? And they're like, oh, we have a lot of new viewers since we've been on here for 3 hours. Here's the quick tour. So.
Any code books can you see modern communication equipment? No, they didn't leave any of their old communication equipment.
I did find a manual for a dehumidifier that was here.
I think there's also, what's that thing on the wall in the pump room that is next to the hot water heater? Is that it's not like a dehumidifier, but it's something like that. A dryer, an air dryer. I think that's what it's called, an air dryer. I don't know what that
has a little manual on
top. It does have a manual on top of it. And it plugs in and it works. I mean, it runs. I don't know what it's doing. But I'm not sure if anyone knows the difference between like what a wall mount air dryer and a dehumidifier is. I would be interested in knowing. How deep are we underground? So we're only about 4 feet as far as like from the roof of the top of our roof to the earth. There's about 4 feet of earth, but then there's 2 feet of concrete and then 16 feet of space. So like 16 and a half foot from our floor to our ceiling. So we're about 25 feet down ourselves where we're at right now. First time seeing it. Hey, welcome. Any steel or cement on the roof? So the roof is just earth. I mean, there's reinforced concrete is our actual roof, but then there's just dirt on top of that, about 4 feet of dirt. Is the bunker nice? I think so.
We like it.
Oh, I just remembered the video idea that I had. I remember to tell you.
You need to write it down.
Maybe. My plan is to bug out to the wilderness. Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, that's a good plan. Especially if you can get some land out there. But yeah, if you guys have other questions, I'm more than willing to answer them, or I could just keep talking about why I love AT&T bunkers, because I do. I was also mentioning earlier that I'm thinking about that I want to test to see if I can take the generator windings from this generator and hook it up to our fan that's like a squirrel cage fan and see if we can actually make a horizontal wind turbine. I don't know if I can do it, but it'd be fun to try. Sort of like our garage. Our garage didn't work out, and it failed. We failed with our garage.
It was pretty though.
All you need is a shotgun and a rusty axe. Yep.
That's awesome.
Build further. Can build further out in your bunker? Probably not. I mean, maybe, but we'd have to like wreck down a wall. We've talked about it.
We talked about the EMP shielding.
Oh yeah, our whole bunker is EMP shielded. Even if I have, like, there might be people on that weren't here for that, but I didn't. So our whole bunker is EMP shielded. So because they had telephone equipment here, they put a whole copper mesh around the entire bunker, and so if you did cut through those walls, you could potentially mess up your EMP shielding, which would protect us from solar flares, nuclear explosions actually create an EMP, which destroys electronics, right? So like with our bunker, everything should be protected from a nuclear EMP or a solar flare. So our phones will still work, our computers should still work. we should set up some secure servers down here, so that if people want something a little bit more secure for their data, that they could have a place to do that. Have we metal detected the property? No, but we may have a metal detector on the way. So that's spoiler. Okay. Probably more likely than a nuke. Yeah, solar flare probably is more likely than a nuke. Does it have a greenhouse or underground power and water? We are on city water. We're on city power, but we want to be self-sufficient. So we'd like to drill we've got 13 acres of land. There used to be a well here, but they decided it was easier and cheaper to maintain just hooking up to city water. So they hooked up to city water. So that's what we have right now. We also have a 10,000 gallon stainless steel tank outside that's buried. I do know where that is. We dug it up and found it. But we are not using it right now. But eventually we'd like to hook that back up to our well water and have a huge water supply in there. The other thing we need before we can do that is a whole house water filtration system. So we're trying to figure out which one we want to go with there. We also have a radio tower. We should get ham radios. Absolutely. We would like to get ham radios and take the class so we can get licensed to be able to do that. Hey guys, how you doing? We're doing good. Thanks for joining us. Any questions on YouTube? Guys, if you have questions on YouTube, ask us. If you've got questions there out on TikTok land, ask away. We're happy to answer questions. Do you get reverse osmosis system? Maybe we've looked at them.
A bunker, dome bunker.
Oh, I want to build a bunker, a dome bunker, but unfortunately finances don't permit it. Yeah. You know, Atlas Survival Shelters does bunker domes, and they do financing. I don't know what your finances are like, but I personally feel like if there's something you dream about that you want to make happen, because this was a dream of ours for about 7 years, get as much information as you can about it. Find out everything you can. Find how much is it going to cost? Because when you have those numbers, it just makes it a lot more obtainable, right? So like Atlas Survival Shelters, I mean, I'm not affiliated with them. They don't give me a cut or anything, but they're pretty nice guys, I think. They're on YouTube, and they do all sorts of bunkers. They do metal bunkers, but they also do dome bunkers, and they have financing stuff. So I would go out and I would say, how much does this cost? What's the financing? What does my credit score have to be? Yeah, they are expensive. They are expensive. But you know what? On the bright side, you don't have to renovate it, because that's the whole nother process. that is expensive. By the time I'm done with this, there's going to be a lot of money into it, more than I'd ever get out of it if I sold it. But I never want to sell it. So, what state are you guys located in again? We're in the state of peace. Yeah. We're Midwest. We're not really talking. I mean, we definitely have followers and viewers that know what state we're in. People who follow us who are local, stuff like that. Yeah, please don't post it. You know, we've got kids. We're just trying to be somewhat safe. I mean, we're already kind of broadcasting our whole process of renovating a bunker. So we just don't want to take that to the next level and tell everyone, you know, here's our GPS coordinates.
Here's where to send your missile.
Yeah, here's where to send your missile. Very high quality, just a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it costs money to get those kind of things built, for sure. Yeah. I don't know how much their dome ones are, though. But if there's probably other companies that do dome ones. I would go just find out how much does it cost. I think there's kits. There's a site called monolithic.org or something like that, and they'll sell you kits where you can. I think you can. they kind of help walk you through the process of doing it yourself. I wonder if they have financing. I don't know. Maybe you don't know unless you call and find out. Right. And again, I think if you want to make something happen, you just got to understand what the numbers are. No, but you have to understand what the numbers are so you know what you're shooting for. If you're just shooting for, I'd love to have a bunker, that's really hard to do unless you know what the numbers are. If you say, look, I need to have this much money in the bank, I need, this much come in revenue, I need to have a job that's online so I can work from anywhere, because if I find a good price on a bunker, I'm gonna have to move into it and start renovating it, and then calling Ruben up and saying, Ruben, what am I doing? I don't know how to do this. And I'll say, me neither, but let's figure it out together.
But by saying you have to believe, I'm saying if you come against a wall where you're like, it costs how much? Can't do that. Say, well, could I do it for this much? It's change your questions.
Or what do I need? What do I need to have that much?
That's another question you can ask. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's just keep going until you find the right questions with the right answers, and it all starts.
I see what you're saying. It's not like you're not like talking about like just like meditating in the corner and saying, I believe that I will have a bunker. You're like, oh, well, no, that too. If that helps.
If that helps.
If that helps, I guess that's fine.
I'm not opposed.
Do you support nuclear disarmament? That's a good question. And that's a complicated question, honestly. Right? Like, if everyone did it, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Problem is, like, there's countries out there that they would never agree, or people would lie. That's like my biggest concern about it, right? Like, I think, nuclear weapons are horrible, right? But like, we have kind of this whole, scare of mutual destruction, which prevents us from actually using them. Because if somebody uses them, then we fear that someone else will use them back against us. So, I don't know. I mean, if there was a way to secure and make sure that everyone got rid of them, absolutely. I think I'm a huge anti-war person. I don't like war. I mean, I think, we in the United States, we over-militarize. We're involved in too many other countries, and I think we need to stop. I mean, honestly, I think we just need to stop getting involved in other countries. And I don't think a good defense is a good offense when it comes to war. I think you protect your borders, and that's it. And you don't. And I think if people attack you, you're ready to fight them back. But the chances of people attacking us, it can happen, but like, I think they're low. I mean, unless something really drastic happens in our country where people feel like they could get away with it. But I don't know. And I think we stretch ourselves too thin. So, I mean, if you disagree with my politics, that's fine. I just think it looks like Jimmy Neutron. Banker game on point. Hair game on point, bro. Thanks. How are you going to let your hair get? I need a haircut. It needs to get a little bit shorter. Once it starts growing in a little bit, like here, then I need to start cutting it.
But up top.
But up top, maybe probably I need to cut that a little bit too. Okay. But anyway, sorry. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really worried about getting political. I mean, I personally think my positions are pretty reasonable. I think we should stay out of other people's business. I think we spend way too much on military, and I think I just don't like war.
Speaking,
I just don't like war. I think we go. No. I mean, I think we go too easily to war, and we're too for it when it's our political side, and I don't like it on any political side. Whether it's, unless somebody's coming to us and we're defending ourselves, I think that's reasonable. But I don't like going out against people. I don't like being, the aggressors of war. And I think we do that a little bit too much. Defend, protect, eliminate. Yeah, 6 years to go. Are you two lovers? Yes, and we're married and with kids.
Oh, I have my ring on. I took it off to do dishes.
That's right. We've got our
I don't know where
selves before helping others. Yeah, exactly. Hey, the hair is great. OSHA will let you not wear a hard hat. Yes. Yeah, that's the bad thing about my hair is like my gas mask kind of messes it up when I put it on. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching our channels. When are you installing the ERV? Well, I've got some business stuff I'm finishing up this week. I mean, Joan wants me to install it like yesterday, right? Because she wants fresh air into the bunker. But it's a process. I've got to cut out some big pipes. I've got to set up all the electrical, and I've got to figure out the electrical a little bit and how. And I got to talk to the company about what's the kind of monitoring system I need to get. Probably, I think something like that measures the pressure, or I don't know, something like that. Anyway, I got to figure out there. I was looking over the schematic, and again, I'm not an electrician, so I don't really know what I'm looking at. But if anyone out there knows electricity,
like, I got it. I just don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Maybe you can help me because I'm not. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you don't mind my politics. U.S. is a body of land that would just be horrible to try to invade. It would be. How's Enoch doing? Enoch's doing great, as always. And I think he's been doing a great job when I'm not able to jump on. He's been doing a really good job holding down the fort on TikTok for sure. Although he needs to get that part 2 YouTube done. It's been a little bit longer than it should be for that part 2 YouTube. And he's got other YouTube stuff that he's got to edit, but he's, I don't know, busy, I guess.
Yeah.
13 good men and women. Yeah. Yeah. I think, we've also become, man, I'm going to get in trouble because I'm going to talk politics. I think we become a little bit desensitized to the war machine that's actually happening out there in the world, because the news media, in some ways they glorify it a little bit, or they just report on it, which in my mind glorifies it a little bit. Thanks. I appreciate that. We have more interviews that I've got to post too. I've just been so busy. I'm behind. I've got interviews that are going to go up. So stay tuned for those on YouTube. Do you have blast doors? Yes, we have we've got a 2,000-pound blast door in the back, and I think it's a 3,000-pound blast door in the front. It's actually 2 doors. One is kind of bolted shut, so we'd have to unbolt it to open it. But if we needed to, we would. We almost were tempted to do it when we were getting the ERV in, but we realized we could just take it off the box, off the crate, and lean it in. Prepared airmen. Yeah, prepared airmen. I'll look them up for sure. Thanks. If you guys have suggestions on interviews you'd like to see, let me know. Have you excavated your escape tunnel? We have an escape hatch, actually, so we don't need an escape tunnel.
At one point, you were talking about maybe making a secret tunnel somewhere.
Oh yeah, does it have a secret tunnel? No, not like. Because
I was like, where would it go to?
Colin, I think his name is Colin, who did the secret tunnel, and then I did a video with like the song from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Secret Tunnel. Yeah, I thought that was funny. I thought I was going to get more views on that, but I didn't.
Oh, Secret Tunnel.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? Chevy Blazer and an AR-15. I'll survive very long. Yeah. It's no secret tunnel. It will mess up the Emp Shielding. Yeah. I mean, if you told us, it wouldn't be a secret anymore. That's true too. That's true too. It would. I mean, I already have an escape hatch. If I was going to have a secret tunnel, it should be probably secret. Yep. Still no questions on YouTube. Although we still have 2 viewers. Hey, thanks for holding in there, guys.
3 for a while.
Yeah.
I went down to 1 and now it's back up to 2. So someone's come on. Welcome.
Welcome, YouTube, TikToker. Sorry, we're kind of back and forth. But guys, on YouTube, if you have any questions, feel free to write them. Same on TikTok. Maybe a false wall. I thought about that. Yeah, some hidden. There might be some hidden stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it's still a little bit of a secret because you don't know exactly where I'm at. People do know. My neighbors know. They knew about this place. So when I moved in, they already knew it existed. Because you're looking here. Yeah, we're on both.
Yeah, you don't have to be in both places. We get it. Right.
I've been playing the lotto, so you can buy the bunker. Yeah. Although I would get an AT&T. Don't get unless you're gonna. Are you thinking about an Atlas missile silo when you win the lottery?
Maybe it depends on how much they win.
Maybe it depends on how much you win because there are different prize levels. That is true. I wouldn't get the one with the big silos. Those would be a pain. Like unless you win like $200 million and that's where all your money's going is into renovating one of those missile silos that like are big and long. Atlas is the way to go for sure. They're square, makes sense. They're big though. Like I said earlier, they're about twice the size of ours. That's a big project. This is a big enough project. I can't imagine it being twice the size. And in fact, if you want a really big facility, there are some communication bunkers that are 50,000 square feet, if you believe it. 50,000 square feet.
That's where I got the times 10 earlier.
Yeah, it's that those are the ones that are times 10. Can you believe that? Like that's like you could have. Hey, how's it going, Bobby? Good to see you.
He's here.
Yeah, so some of these AT&T facilities are 50,000 square feet. That's literally like a small city. And they're 2 stories. They're 2 levels. I don't know if both levels have 16.5-foot ceilings, but they may. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But yeah, there's actually one in close to Charlotte or Charlottesville, North Carolina. Bobby, you probably know that. Is it Charlottesville or Charlotte, North Carolina? Charlotte or Charlottesville? Charlottesville. Anyway, there's one close to there that is 50,000 square feet. It's a gigantic facility. I haven't seen it. I would love to get a tour. That would be awesome. I wonder if we go out east ever, if Charlotte. Okay, Charlotte's North Carolina, not South. South Carolina, North Carolina. North Carolina. I think that's in North Carolina. But I would maybe because I don't know what how can we convince them to give us a tour? I don't know.
We would just ask.
North Carolina. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe just ask. I would love to get a tour of that. Yeah, it's huge. You could be the mayor. Yeah. Welcome to my bunker city. I am the mayor. Like literally you could do everything in a bunker that size. That's huge. Anyway, we're like 10% of that here. And that's a big enough project for me. I can't imagine. I did reach out to them though and see what they were selling it, because like I said earlier, if you really had a dream to like have a bunker or something like that, you got to figure out like what are the possibilities, what are the numbers, what are people asking, how much is it going to cost? Because if you don't know those things, you don't have a path to being able to get there. Because you're only going to make it one step at a time. So you got to get to the money level first. Or buy a farm and build a
be gathering
bunker.
The information so you even know
so yeah
when you want to get together.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So again, guys, if you have questions, feel free to throw them out there. I'm going to try to get our ERV set up as soon as possible. I'd like to do it before winter, just because in winter, right now, our only heat is our old electric heaters that are here from the 60s, and those eat up a massive amount of power. I wonder if you could hook solar. I mean, I guess you could. I've been looking at being able to hook solar right up to your hot water tank. So I've been doing some research on that for a while. I've mentioned it before, but there are ways you can just take your solar, hook it right up to your heating elements in your hot water tank, and heat them directly from your solar power.
And that's cool because
the most important part, thanks for helping me. The most expensive part of a solar system are the batteries. And if you overheat your hot water tank, let's say 120 is the recommended temperature, but if you put it at, like, let's say 170 or 175, right? And then what you do is you add a regulator, which brings the temperature, is like a thermal mixing valve, I think is what it's called. And you set that to 120. So your tank is at 170, and your mixing valve will bring that down to 120. And then it'll, like, basically, depending on what.
You're not burning yourself when it comes out.
Yes, scalding yourself with hot water. But what that does is that's basically a large battery. Because it's storing energy. Exactly.
Energy.
So if you overheat it at 170, my idea is that during the night when there's no solar power, it hopefully won't come down past 120 if it's well insulated, right? And so it will come down maybe to 120. Maybe it gets a little bit colder, but even if it's at 100, that's still comfortable enough to shower in, right? You just don't turn on the cold water with it. But you could potentially store all of that energy in your hot water tank and not have to spend the money on the batteries to be the backup for your hot water tank, right? So I've been thinking along those same lines. Could we potentially hook up solar panels in a room that we're not using to our heaters that we have, right? Our wall heaters.
Solar panels inside the bunker?
No, I mean, they would be outside the bunker, but we wire them
into a room.
Into the we have solar panels outside. Okay. We bring the wires into the bunker, and we heat up a room that is maybe hotter,
like a sauna room
that you could just, like, open the door and let some of the heat in,
and then blow some of that warm air into other places.
And then you don't actually have to and then you just sort of overheat certain areas where you're not in right now. I mean, that won't work after the renovation, but during the renovation, we have spaces that we're not really using. So anyway, you'd have multiple families in there. Do you have in there to do a 50,000? Yeah, for sure. Like, seriously, it's like a small little city. Missed the Q&A lives. Yeah, sorry. I've just been so busy. I'm going to try to do more of them. Things are kind of starting to slow down a little bit, so I can hopefully do more. Honestly, the best part would be not having a lawn to mow. My son agrees. He thinks lawns are stupid. And I don't know how you get past that, because if you don't do a lawn, something's going to grow there. As you see outside of our bunker, something's growing because we don't have a lawn. We just have stuff that grows. Are you armed to protect your bunker when it hits the fan? Armed with these guns. Yeah, right? No. Wait, that is undisclosed. We're not going to disclose our armaments for the bunker. I think that may be against terms of service. Also, we can't promote things like that on TikTok. So I think these are the only guns I'm allowed to talk about on TikTok. All right. You want a bunker big enough to have a gun range? Yeah. I mean, we could have one in here, and I've been looking at there are some gun ranges that you can do. I was seeing there's some, like, I guess, technology where it's basically like laser kind of guns, and then you put CO2 cartridges in the gun, so it has that kind of recoil feeling of a gun, but it doesn't actually shoot into anything. But it will analyze like how well you're doing as well. So it's like computerized system. So I was looking at that. I think that would be kind of cool to have in the bunker. I don't know. What do you guys think? Just run black water pipe in a clear vacuum tube to heat the water. Yeah, the problem with a water system, because I get what you're saying, and I've looked into it. The water system pump. First of all, there's a guy on YouTube. His YouTube handle is something pause, POZ. I forget. I'm not remembering names today. Sorry. Yeah, we're all living in GTA. But he's done a bunch of tests, and he's actually one of the people I've watched at as far as like doing direct from solar water heating. He didn't do it in his water tank. He did it just in basically a little water tub that he built. But he found that it was actually more efficient, not per space. He said if you're and we've got 13 acres, so we're not lacking in space. But he's like, it's more efficient, not in space, but in power wise, to overheat the water than it is to circulate water through a solar heating system. It's actually cheaper to do direct from photovoltaic heating. And I think that will be even more so because I can overheat it in my hot water tank. Right. And so in my hot water tank, I can take it up to 175 and not have it just evaporate away. But he's done some tests. There's also some other people that have done some tests as far as like doing direct from PV, hot water tank heating. But the one thing I haven't seen anyone else do or anyone else talk about is heating up your water tank. So it's like at 175 and then getting a thermal mixing valve to step that down and using your hot water tank as an actual energy battery. Because a lot of your energy for your home is spent on heating your hot water. So if you can avoid that expense, that'd be cool. Defend and defeat is a knife and proper training. Yep. Thanks for the compliment. Your hair looks beautiful. I appreciate that. Nate Petrowski. That could be. I guess I could look it up. I don't remember. It could be. There's a few people that talk about direct from solar water heating, but I haven't seen anyone talking about the thermal mixing valve. And they're easy. Like you can actually get a shark bite. I don't know if you guys are familiar with shark bite, but shark bite is a way of fitting pipes together where you don't have to solder anything. It's a fitting that just kind of pushes on. Now, if you're a plumber out there, don't attack me because I'm talking about shark bites. I get it. They haven't been around long enough. We don't know how long they'll last. We don't know what it's going to take for them to fail. But most of the plumbing I'm talking about is out in the open and it's not behind a wall. So it's not as big of a deal, right? But they have shark bite connections, thermal mixing valves that come with shark bite type connections. So you just cut the pipe, stick on the thermal mixing valve on the one side, stick it on the other side, and you're done. Like that. It's like the easiest kind of projects. Yes, people are already talking about shark bites. They don't trust them. I'm not even saying that's what I'm going to do, but I'm saying it does make it a little bit more DIY friendly for those who are not professionals. I can solder, so I'm not too worried about it. But you could use radiant floor heating in the floors. Yes. Exactly. And if you did if I got a second tank, right? A second hot water tank that I hooked directly up to solar and heated it, don't put water in it, but you put, I think it's called glycerol or glycerin, one of those. You put like, it's sort of like an antifreeze kind of thing, but you can buy it in bulk, right? So you put that in for your radiant floor heating. So I could direct from PV do the exact same thing with another thing. And if I don't use water and I use a closed loop system with the glycerin, a generic crappy tank could potentially last, I don't know about forever, but it could last, I'm guessing twice as long as what a regular hot water tank could last. Just a generic water tank that would normally die after 8 to 15 years could potentially last twice as long, maybe longer, maybe forever if I don't use any water, because it's the water that corrodes the inside of your hot water tank. So if I've got a closed loop system with glycerin, so I do that. I hook up a thermal mixing valve to that as well, direct from solar, no batteries. I can heat the entire bunker with radiant floor heating. And the other reason why radiant floor heating is really good for these types of bunkers is because of our 16.5-foot ceilings. And we're going to keep that open in a lot of our spaces. And radiant floor heating, the heat stays in the bottom half. When you do hot air heating, all of that hot air rises, right? And so not only is everyone on the second floor now turning on their air conditioning because everything's too hot, because the bottom half needs it hot needs it hotter to get that air down. So you're wasting energy that way. But air rises, and so all of your air is going to be at the top level. So that causes all sorts of problems like I'm talking about. So with radiant floor, hey, do you want to come check it out, Celeste?
Come say hi.
You want to come say hi?
So are you saying add a mixing valve to glycerin? You're mixing it with other glycerin. So we have 2 tanks? No. What are you're mixing it with itself? What are we mixing it with?
Yes.
So it goes through the floor and it comes back.
Yes. So what you're mixing it with, the mixing valve isn't about mixing 2 different types of liquids. The mixing valve is about mixing 2 different temperatures of liquid, right? So you have the cold liquid and the hot liquid, and it mixes them so that it gets to a reasonable temperature. It gets to the temperature you want to. What's that?
Where's the other liquid coming from?
It's coming from the cold. Yes, from the cold end of that being pumped around. Okay. So by the time when you do radiant floor heating, you have the one side which is hot, and then as it goes to the floor, it releases its heat, and by the time it loops back around, and by the time it comes back around, it's not as hot.
Right, but you're constantly adding more and more to a closed system.
We're not adding more. We're not adding more.
So some of it has to go into the tank.
It's got to go back to the tank anyway. I know what I'm talking about.
Draw me a picture.
Okay. Do you guys know what I'm saying out there? Yeah, I wonder if it's going to snow this one. Glycol. That's it. It's not glycerin, or it's glycol. Thank you for correcting me. I'm not remembering names today for whatever reason. I don't miss having windows. Windows, you have to clean windows and replace them, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do either. There's also geothermal heating. Yes, you can actually do geothermal heating with radiant floor heating. It's expensive though. It's really expensive. The doing a direct from solar hot water tank, I think, would be a lot less expensive, and I think honestly it's going to be more efficient than even geothermal, only because it would be hooked up directly to solar, and I could bypass having batteries. So if I can bypass having batteries, it's cheaper and it's less expensive. And it's, I think, more efficient because the batteries are a lot of the inefficiencies of solar systems. Surplus is a gold mine. All right. For real, bugging out into the woods isn't a good idea if you aren't trained. I have experience. All right. Why isn't going to the woods a good idea? I'm curious. I don't know. So if you have experience, share with us. I'll share it with everyone else. Geothermal breaks all the time too. That's good to know. That is really good to know. I've only looked into it, but I haven't actually talked to someone who has it or has done it. How do you know geothermal breaks all the time? I'd love to know more about that because I'm interested in making that choice at some point as whether I want to use geothermal or not. It's a more complicated system, and it's harder to fix yourself. You know. So I have a decent chance of survival. Is Ebola 22 the next pandemic? I don't know. It's a good question. I hope we don't have another pandemic. That'd be horrible. Because the wilderness is harsh and only the best will survive. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. So don't bug out to the woods unless you know what you're doing. Also, there's only so much wilderness, and food and water everyone will try to bug out to the wilderness. Those are some good points. I work on radiant systems and do solar work. Hey, so what do you think about my idea about direct from? I don't know anyone else who's put all of those things together. And if you do, maybe you can make a bunch of money off of it. Should I go over it again? All right. So here's the idea. No battery bank. What you do is you're storing your heat in the hot water tank, right? And you overheat it, add a mixing valve to it, and the mixing valve brings the temperature down to more reasonable temperatures, right? But the hot water tank is actually being heated direct from photovoltaic, and the idea is during the daytime maybe you can get it up to 170, and then during the nighttime maybe it comes down to 120, right? And because you have a mixing valve in there, what a mixing valve does is it takes the cold part of the liquid. I'm thinking if you can use glycol, right? You take the cold part from the system, you take it back up to the cold part back up to the mixing valve, so it mixes with that to bring it down to temperature. But basically, your hot water tank now acts like a giant battery, and your most expensive part. If you work with solar, you know this, right? Your most expensive part of your solar system is a battery system. So any way of potentially bypassing your solar system, your battery system, you're going to save a ton of money. Okay, you want glycol through the solar with the heat exchanger. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Let me see. I've got no viewers on YouTube now. I'm just streaming to myself on YouTube. That's so funny. There's someone who's on YouTube, and again, I think let me just look it up since no one's on YouTube anyway. Something pause. David Paz. That's it. Look up David Paz on YouTube, and he did some testing comparing heating up water basically through a system as opposed to direct from photovoltaic panels. One of the reasons direct heating up water is not a great idea for me is because of the distance I am from outside, right? Because I'm underground, by the time I bring all of that water or glycol down, I'm losing heat, right? The other issue with that is it's harder to hyperheat like you can with an electrical element in a hot water tank. Because if you bring it into a hot water tank, Like you can get the temperature up, right? And it'll be nice. It'll be supplemental. But what I'm talking about is not heating up your water in a supplemental way, but heating up your water so that you never have to heat up your water again, unless it's like cloudy for like 3 days, right? If it's cloudy for 3 days and you're, and you know, okay, fine. You have to add some energy to it. But check out David Paz on YouTube. He did some tests on comparing direct from photovoltaic heating compared to heating water with the sun, you know, through a heat exchanging kind of hot water catching device. And the other thing is solar panels are relatively inexpensive, like compared to some of the systems where you're actually heating through. I mean, you could build something, right? Maybe that'd be cheaper. But I mean, you can get some used solar panels that are at 80% capacity, 250 watts for like $50, right? How many square feet are we heating? We don't heat the whole place, but we have about 6,000 square feet. And so we'll maybe heat, probably this summer, we'll heat our largest room, which is about 1,700 square feet. And it's 16.5-foot ceilings, and it's electrical heat. So it's going to eat up our electricity. I'm still alone. I'm still super lonely on YouTube. Nobody on YouTube watching me anymore. That's too bad. All by my lonesome. If you want to jump over to my YouTube guys and watch me there, that would be awesome. PV use is really cheap now. Yes. So right now we're heating. We just have the electric heaters. I mean, they're efficient, but electricity is just expensive. I mean, the thing about electrical heaters, electrical heaters are actually about 100% efficiency. The problem with them is just heating with electricity is expensive. Even like 60-year-old electric heaters are generally just as efficient as ones today. And what we do is we'll turn on like one or two of the heaters and we'll put a fan in front of it. And that makes the room comfortable. Nuclear subs use a minute amount of uranium-235 that powers the energy and electrical for months. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be building. My brother used to work on a nuclear sub. He was actually the chief engineer on a nuclear sub. You get your hands on enough tritium, you can make a beta voltaic battery. I'll look that up. Is that like a nuclear thing? Because otherwise, I don't think I can do that. With 1,700 square feet, heat load, that wouldn't take a lot of storage. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I get it. And here's some other issues with batteries. Here's my, thanks. Someone joined me on YouTube. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my YouTube. We're on TikTok. So, 2 people. Woohoo. That's awesome. If you guys want to join us on YouTube, I lost one. I maybe got too excited and scared him away. Okay. Hey, but guys, if you guys have any questions about our underground bunker renovation project, feel free to send them my way. I am just now talking a little bit about, 2.2 thousand likes. That's awesome. 18 people on TikTok. That's cool. All right, 2. I got somebody back on YouTube. That's awesome. But I'm just talking about solar systems and being able to bypass battery systems, because battery systems are expensive. Here's the other problem with battery systems. They don't last. Battery systems don't last. The best batteries you're going to buy are maybe 20, something like top of the line, like newest kind of stuff coming out is like a 30-year battery, right? Lithium batteries are very finicky. Like you can lose You can destroy those batteries if you charge them too fast, or you do something. Now there are some batteries which could potentially last forever. Edison batteries are nickel iron batteries. Those can last forever. You do have to put new electrolyte stuff in them every 20, 30 years or so, but that's easy to do. One of the issues with nickel iron batteries is that they off gas, and I'm in a bunker, right? And it off gases hydrogen, and so that's flammable. So that's an issue that I have to consider when looking at those type of batteries. But batteries, they're not only expensive, but they don't last, right? So if I, wanted something that was going to last forever, which I do, I don't know if I want to put too much stock in batteries. If I can avoid batteries, I want to avoid the batteries. They probably will be necessary, but I'm thinking about getting Edison some nickel iron batteries for the bunker. I wonder if they'll sponsor me. Iron Edison, sponsor us. we need batteries. Yeah, and it's old technology, but the people have found old Edison batteries, nickel iron batteries, and they've refurbished them, and they still work today. So the tech doesn't exist yet. I don't know. I mean, batteries don't last forever unless they're kind of old style batteries, like nickel iron batteries could last forever. But although you have to redo the fluid in them. It's not an acid. It's a what do you call it? An alkaline. It's an alkaline battery. So not an acid battery. And the other cool thing about Edison batteries is you can run those things hard. If you wanna overcharge them and run get your batteries charged really fast, you can do that. You lose your electrolyte faster, but you have the option. You have the option. If you were in a real bind and you really needed to overcharge your nickel iron batteries, you have that option of abusing them to some degree. You just need to make sure, usually nickel iron batteries have translucent bodies, and you can see there's two lines, and it's okay. And basically those two lines are don't fill above here and don't let it get below this point. So that's the deal with nickel iron, but they off gas. So I have to have a way of taking that and piping it out of the bunker. Just to vent the hydrogen. Yeah, that's what you have to do. And it's not an unsurmountable issue for sure. The other issue with nickel iron batteries is they are expensive. They are super expensive. They're way more expensive than lead acid. The only way that they are, you can actually look at them as being cheaper is because of how long they'll last. If you actually take the lifespan of a nickel iron battery and compare that to a lithium iron battery, they are actually cheaper in battery life than even the most technological battery, like the lithium type batteries. They're cheaper than those, but they're also bigger. Well, we've got space. I mean, if there's one thing we have space. So we could potentially, very easily use nickel iron. And that's probably, when we get batteries, that will probably be the way that we'll go. But if I can avoid using batteries, that's really my goal. And the nice thing about photovoltaic over the heating with the sun is usually that only, that won't heat your water 100%. My goal, ideally, what I'd like to do is heat my water 100% with the sun. And if I overheat it and let it cool during the night, so it's still over 120, then that's ideal, instead of using the sun to heat it up. And yes, it'll be hot, but as soon as the sun goes down, there's nothing, it's not hot enough to hold in enough heat to get through the whole night and still stay at like 120 degrees. So anyway, yeah, Elon Musk is researching battery tech for his Teslas. Yeah. Do you know, this is an interesting bit of information. The first electric car was actually run on a nickel iron battery, an Edison battery. So, and the first cars were electric, not gas powered. Did you know that? The first cars were actually electric, not gas powered. And they ran on nickel iron batteries. And that's like old technology, right? First car. And the nickel iron batteries, they only do like 1.2 volts. So you need like at least 10 of them to get up to 12 volts. You'll need 40 of them to get to 48 volts. You'll need, so on and so forth. But steam powered, I don't know. What I heard was that the first cars were electric. I mean, maybe there were some steam powered ones. Are they cars if they're steam powered? I guess so. Man, I keep losing and gaining someone on YouTube. Maybe their internet connection is not great. I had 0 for a long time. I had 0 watchers on YouTube. Now, the cool thing, if you guys do want to go to YouTube, is that it increases my watch time, and that will help me get monetized on YouTube. Someday I will be monetized on YouTube. I'm not worried about it. It'll happen when it happens. But
you believe.
But it's cool if people are on YouTube and it increases my watch time. So nice hair. Thanks. I wonder if you could concentrate on your radon with the centrifuge and use its decaying properties for energy. I don't know. I don't think radon works like that. But I don't know enough about it. I mean, I hope we don't have that much radon that we could actually power a house with it. That'd be a dangerous amount of radon, probably. All right. You guys, if you have any questions for us, I can keep talking about my crazy power ideas or bunker plans or whatever you want. How long would you last if you stockpiled gasoline for generator? I don't know. We don't have. I mean, we've got this old generator, but that's going. That's a diesel generator. We're going to get probably some other type of generator. But we don't have it yet. That'd be another good sponsor. Should remember that. Get a good generator.
Gas powered.
Yeah, a gas powered generator. Not in the bunker. It'd be outside the bunker. Yeah, you don't put gas generators inside your house. That's very dangerous. You will potentially die, and that's one reason why we don't want to run. If you already know, and everyone already tells you, don't run your gas-powered generator inside the house because you could die. Imagine trying to run something like this behind me, this diesel 225 kilowatt diesel generator. I'd rather not. I'd rather not die from carbon monoxide poisoning. And you can't really smell carbon monoxide. You can put detectors around, but it's just, that's too much, too dangerous for me. So yeah, generators have to go outside. But what I really like is a solar system that doesn't need batteries.
I love it. Like the sun.
There's a TikToker named Nate Petrowski who lives off grid in West Virginia. Awesome. Maybe we need to, I'll write it down. Nate Petrowski. We should connect. And all his electric is from photovoltaic. Yep. He uses battery powered chainsaws. Awesome. That's cool. Again, like if you like for instance, this phone, right? This phone is my daughter's and she's not home right now. Lithium battery, and the battery's dying because it's not getting used enough. Lithium batteries are just so finicky. Like I worry about trusting my livelihood to lithium batteries. I don't know. I mean, I mean, they have their good points. Like they have a lot of power in a very small space, and there's a lot of great things about them. But you have to really be on top of them, and I'm not good at that. Like I think we have some hedge clippers that have batteries that haven't charged. They're probably dead now because I'm really bad at remembering to do stuff like that. So if I can not have to remember to do stuff like that, that would be with my home battery system. That'd be good. Although I guess you have systems that monitor all that stuff. He talks about his PV all the time. I should talk to him. I'm really excited about my direct from PV hot water tank heater. Anytime you can get me talking about that, I will go off because I don't know if it'll work. Honestly, it's just an idea in my head. And I've seen other people do part of that idea, but I haven't seen them take my full idea to fruition. So it's also sodium hydroxide for thermal energy storage. Okay. All right. I don't know a lot about that. Hydroxide seems pretty safe. Is that an acid or is that an alkaline? Sodium hydroxide. I could probably Google it, but I'm streaming right now. It's lye, okay. Alkali, okay. Yeah, alkalis are relatively safe, more so than acid. So I'll have to look into that. I'm losing my voice a little bit, getting a little wheezy. All right, guys, we've been on for 2 hours. If there's no other questions, I'm going to sign off and go to bed. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Thanks for all your great questions. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys following us. If you have not checked us out on YouTube, please go and check us out on YouTube and let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to answer them. And if you end up buying a bunker, let's be bunker buddies and we'll exchange information and figure all this out ourselves, right? We're going to figure it out. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys motivate me to no end, to put stuff out, to make content, to get projects done. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I gotta get this project. I gotta get a project done. I've been super busy with work.
Keep asking, have you installed your air system yet?
Yeah.
Okay,
and then I feel bad, and then
thank you.
Yeah, you guys motivate me, so I appreciate you guys being out there and helping me and being a part of this journey with us. And keep it up. Keep me motivated. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.
Good times. All
right. We'll see you later. Signing off on YouTube too.